Hello everyone, it's Miss Ruffle. Welcome to my new video. Today we're taking a look at the brand new QBJ97 Fiery Trees and Silver Flowers, the new light machine gun added with the Once Human 2nd anniversary update. And yes, as always, this is another full HP build. The best part is that everyone can get this weapon blueprint completely free. Just log into the game, claim your day 1 reward from the Dreamy Check-in event, and the blueprint is yours. No Star Chrome required, which makes it a great opportunity to try out a brand new weapon. This LMG comes with the Unstable Bomber keyword. Some of you may remember that I played the Jaws pistol back in 2024, so I'm already familiar with how this mechanic works. One thing to keep in mind is that Unstable Bomber deals more damage the closer you are to your target. The farther away you are, the lower your damage will be, so this isn't a weapon you'll want to play from long range. When I started testing this gun, I expected it to work similarly to Jaws, which was traditionally played as a crit build. I actually remade the build several times. First, I tried a crit build with a brand new Ghost Link armor set. The results were pretty disappointing. Then I switched to Lone Wolf set, but that wasn't much better. Eventually, I decided to go with an elemental setup, and that ended up giving me the best results. Now I do want to set realistic expectations. I spent a couple of days testing different mods, gear combinations, and the build you'll see today is the strongest version I managed to put together. But even then, I wouldn't call this a top-tier weapon. Right now, there are plenty of other weapons that can deal significantly more damage with much less effort. Even compared to another LMG, like Boom Boom, this one feels noticeably weaker. That doesn't mean it's unusable. You can absolutely clear plenty of content with it, and against bosses like Shadowhound or Treant it performs reasonably well. It's just not going to be as fast or as powerful as many of the current meta options. So if you are looking for the strongest weapon in the game, this probably isn't it. But if you enjoy trying new weapons, want to experience the Unstable Bomber playstyle, or simply like playing light machine guns, then this build is definitely worth checking out. Let's get started. Let's begin with weapon setup. First weapon is QBJ97 Fiery Trees and Silver Flowers, light machine gun with Unstable Bomber keyword. Secondary weapon is AWS-338 Bullseye, or Bingo, which we use to mark enemies to deal more damage. But as I always say in my guides, I hate switching weapons, so this sniper rifle I use it not so often, mostly for bosses. As for melee weapon, as you can see, I have nothing. Usually I just carry a stun button with me to be able to activate first boss in Silo Alpha. That's it. Second part, Calibrations. On my QBJ97, I have Rapid Shot style calibration with Elemental Damage attribute. On my Bullseye sniper rifle, I have also Rapid Shot style calibration with Weak Spot Damage attribute. Next part, Weapon Accessories. For my QBJ97, I use Hammer Compensator, Compact Reflex Sight Optic, Elite Vertical Grip, and Calibrated LMG Drum Mag. For ammo, I use medium caliber armor piercing ammo. For my sniper rifle, I use large break muzzle, large optic sight, tactical SR mag, and sniper rifle armor piercing ammo. Next part, gear. As its elemental build, I'm using 4 parts of Shelterer set. Shelterer top, pants, gloves, and shoes. As an offset piece, I'm using Bastille mask. As I have a full HP build, and I usually stay with high HP, I use this part because it gives weapon damage plus 10% when HP is above 70%. So that's what I usually use. If you don't want to use Bastille mask as an offset piece, you can as well go for a piece from Lone Wolf set for magazine capacity bonus, for Renegade piece for a load speed bonus, Or, for example, you can wear heavy duty set piece for HP bonus plus 10%. And now key armor. As a key armor, I use Wind Interpreter Cap. This armor got released at the same day as the new weapon, so it's basically made for it. And I gave it a try and I liked it. Now let's talk about mods. Let's start with weapon mods. On my QBJ97, I have supercharged mod with unstable bomber suffix. Actually, this is the second mod I tested. My first choice was Bombardier Souvenir with unstable bomber suffix. It is a great mod. I used it back then with my Jaws unstable bomber. Why do I like this mod? It's because it automatically refills 10% of your magazine when you trigger unstable bomber. It's nice, you don't really need to reload, so it's convenient. But the problem is, I felt like with this one I was lacking damage, so I decided to switch to supercharged unstable bomber. And yeah, I preferred the result with this mod, so I kept this one. On my secondary weapon, on my sniper rifle, I have a vulnerability amplifier mod with the bullseye suffix. Still here? Thank you! If this video has been useful, please leave a like. It really helps YouTube recommend it to more people. Share it with someone who might find it useful, and subscribe if you don't want to miss future guides, updates, and live streams. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can buy me a coffee. Every coffee helps me spend more time creating new content for you. Thanks for being here. Now gear mods. On my Wind Interpreter cap, I have Elemental Havoc with Deviant Energy suffix. And again, this was not my first choice. My first choice was Deviation Expert with Deviant Energy suffix. That's what I used. The problem is that later when I was testing and trying everything, I came to a conclusion that I have too much of a status damage, because this mod is adding 20% status damage bonus. And when you are making elemental builds, it's very important to balance your status damage and elemental damage bonus. You can check out this balance in details. Here, you see damage type bonus, status damage bonus, 103.4%, and elemental damage bonus here, explode elemental damage, 122.1%. Unfortunately, I couldn't bring these two closer, so this is the best proportion I could obtain. Here, I have everything included, even a drink buff. So yeah, I always verify these numbers after all buffs, after everything is equipped, all mods, absolutely everything. So you see status damage is 20% lower than elemental damage, but in the Cradle, later we will check it out again. Here I have a status enhancement, which gives status damage plus 15% for 3 seconds after hitting a weak spot. So yeah, it's temporary, but it helps to balance status and elemental damage bonus a little bit better. So now coming back to mods, originally I started playing with Deviation Expert mod, but I came to a conclusion that I had too much of status damage, so I decided to switch to Elemental Havoc. So Elemental Havoc with Deviant Energy, it gives elemental damage plus 10% bonus, and when HP is above 90%, it gives you additional 10%. So this is really good, I think, especially for a full HP build, which I'm playing. For my Bastille mask, I use Pinpoint Strike mod with Unstable Bomber suffix. For my Shelter top, I use a Quick Comeback mod with Deviant Energy suffix. For Shelter pants, I use Elemental Resonance mod with Deviant Energy suffix. For Shelter gloves, I have Elemental Overload with Deviant Energy suffix. And for Shelter shoes, I have Covered Advanced mod with Deviant Energy suffix. Next part, gear heights. For my Wind Interpreter cap, I used Valley Cowhide. For my Bastille mask, I used Dreamy Rabbit Fur. On shelter top, I have Wasteland Wolf skin. On shelter pants, Wasteland Wolf skin as well. On shelter gloves, I have golden wool, but these gloves were crafted before the Gravity Abyss season. So now I will probably craft shelter gloves again using Starfall hides for increase the gravity crystals yield. And on shelter shoes, I have Wasteland Wolf skin. Next part, Cradle. So as Cradle override nodes, I have Light Weapon Mastery, Precision Weapon Mastery, Rapid Aid, Status Enhancement, Deviant Energy Defense, Elemental Sense, Marked Strike, and Explosives bonus. Next part of my build is Combat Deviation. As a combat deviation, I prefer using Voodoo Doll. I have it with 5/5 stats and with following golden traits: Fluffy Curse, Psychic Kid, and Moonlight Assault. And now the final part of my build, food and drink buffs. As a chef, I can use 2 food and 2 drink buffs at the same time. So now I will show you food and drink buffs I'm using for this build. As food buffs, first of all, I'm using popcorn. This is a dedicated unstable bomber buff. Well, it increases your unstable bomber damage by 10%, which is not so great compared to other dedicated buffs. For example, canned minced meat for frost builds increases frost damage by 15%. But popcorn, unfortunately, increases unstable bomber damage only by 10%. Anyway, I'm using this one. You can also go for bone and deviated sausage in case if you are doing bosses, because this dish increases your damage against bosses by 15%, but make sure to cook it with pork for unstable bomber damage bonus. So this is another option you can use if you want. And as a second food buff, I'm using crumbly bread to increase all weapon damage by 25%. So to sum up, my first food buff is popcorn. My second food buff is crumbly bread. Now drink buffs. As you know, I'm a big fan of high HP and high sanity, so I always have Stardust Malt Ale with me. So this is my first drink buff, cooked with deviated ingredient for greater pollution resistance. And my second drink buff is Whimsical Drink, this one with status enhancement, which gives 25% status damage bonus. Yeah. Don't confuse this one with another whimsical drink, because this one gives you 10% weapon damage bonus, which is a good drink, but not for this build. So this is the right one. So these are my food and drink buffs I'm using with my QBJ97 build. So if you like my food and drink selection, feel free to use the same. If not, well, feel free to use whatever you think works the best for you. So that was my full HP QBJ97 build. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you liked it. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, and see you in my next videos. Bye bye.